What's going on, guys? I'm Dr. Goings, physical therapist, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about my grade 3 AC joint separation and how I made a full recovery without having to have surgery. Alright, so a little bit about me. I'm Dr. Goings. I'm a physical therapist. I work in outpatient orthopedics. I'm an avid CrossFitter. I've been CrossFitting for about 11 years. Did it competitively for a number of years. Have coached it as well. And in recent years I've become an avid mountain biker as well. So very much so an active individual, and love to do all things active and outdoors. So almost a year ago I suffered my grade 3 AC joint separation. New trail had just opened here locally, and I went to go hit the trail. I'd never done it before. It was my first time riding it. It was a rougher blue, black jump line, so lots of jumps, lots of tabletops, a lot of speed, that kind of thing. Went in blind on the trail, and about midway down I was hitting a tabletop, and my suspension on my bike decompressed, and what happened is it kind of bucked me over the handlebars, so I basically racked myself with the handlebars flying through the air, landed on my shoulder, and boom, I injured the shoulder. I kind of knew right off the bat what it was just because of my background and my training. When I got to the car, I had the clavicle sticking up, and I had the other individuals with me kind of look at it, make sure that it was sticking up compared to the other side, and it was. So I knew the AC joint was involved, but at that time I wasn't quite sure what grade the AC separation was, or if there was any other injuries of the rotator cuff or the labrum that could also be involved. Because when there's trauma like that, it's hard to differentiate exactly what is going on. So what I did is the next day I went into an orthopedic surgeon's office, because I do work at a orthopedic surgeon's clinic associated with a hospital, and went in there, got an x-ray, and lo and behold, I did have a grade 3 AC joint separation. So once I got the diagnosis based upon the x-ray, I was talking with my orthopedic surgeon, and he gave me really two options. He said, option one is we can go ahead and move forward with the surgery. And it's going to be a two-part surgery called it's called the hook plate surgery. So they'll go in, and he told me they would put some hardware connecting my distal end of the clavicle to the acromion, and then they let that heal for a number of weeks, and then they would go back in at a later date, and they'd have to remove that hardware after things have healed. Lots of complications or potential complications with that surgery, and things aren't really necessarily guaranteed with that. So there are some risks involved. So he gave me that spiel, and didn't sound very appealing to me. And then he told me, he said, hey, the majority of these AC joint separations are handled conservatively. He said, you being a physical therapist probably will have a good idea of kind of what to do with this. He said, you know what, just come back and see me in 6 weeks. He says, do your own thing, wear a sling as needed, and come back to me in 6 weeks, and we'll see what range of motion, strength, and function is like at that time. And he said, if you're feeling good, we won't move forward with surgery. If you're continuing to have a lot of pain and problems with function, then we'll do surgery. So with that, I set out to create my own protocol. Did a bunch of research, extensive research on the injury, looking everywhere on social media, Facebook, Instagram. I was using hashtags, went on to the medical literature, PubMed, Google Scholar, basically anywhere I could get information, I was searching. One thing that was really frustrating me during this process was the amount of information that was just dispersed throughout the internet space. I was able to kind of sift through it quite easily just because I knew a lot of the anatomy and biomechanics and exercises and things like that. But I was asking myself while I was going through this process, I was like, man, what if I didn't have this knowledge? Would I know what I'm doing? Would I know what I'm reading? And kind of frustrated by just the disarray of information and the lack of clarity of things. What I did is I started combining all my knowledge that I thought was important for the AC joint separation recovery process and put it into kind of one area. And with that, what I did is I really focused on the anatomy of the AC joints. The AC joint, I knew the AC joint really well. Knew what the ligaments do and what ligaments were torn and how that was going to affect stability of the joint. So taking all that information in, I again developed my own protocol. Started off with basic stuff like passive range of motion, pulleys and wall slides. Started moving into more active range of motion, so just lifting the arm up, kind of progressing with that, really working motor control and strength. And then eventually, weeks down the road, I started adding more resistance to my exercises and kind of working things like that. So where I'm at now is I am about a year or almost a year out. I'm back to doing everything that I was doing before with CrossFit, with mountain biking, with basically everything. To kind of illustrate to you what I'm doing now, once I've strengthened this shoulder, is I've been able to get back into clean and jerks up to 250. I'm doing snatches, like with barbell work, dumbbell snatches, kettlebell snatches, barbell snatches, bar muscle ups, done some ring muscle ups, handstand push-ups, handstand walks, high rep pull-ups, high rep push-ups, things like that, and I'm not having any pain. Which I wouldn't have believed this when I first had the injury, just because the injury was excruciating and it hurt, and I couldn't see in the future. And I had a lot of emotions, a lot of anxiety with things revolving around the injury. And now looking back, I'm like, man, I didn't have to have surgery, which is amazing. I had a pretty solid grade 3 AC joint separation, and I'm now doing everything that I want to do without having much limitation at all. A couple movements will give me some pain now and then, like a very deep dip. But besides that, I'm, again, doing everything that I was doing before. And so once I got all my research into one spot, what I ended up doing was creating an online course for other individuals that were like me, recovering from AC joint separation, who wanted information all in one spot. And so what this course does is there's really 3 parts to it. There is an educational component, then there is the protocol, that's a video instructed protocol, it takes you week by week, and then there is a private Facebook group that kind of can touch up on any of the topics that are AC joint separation related or related to the course. So with the educational material, really what that includes, that's going to be just all the basics of the anatomy and biomechanics of the AC joint and the shoulder complex. It's also going to go over how to screen different collateral injuries that might occur to kind of help you differentiate between that. There's tricks, tips, and hacks on how to navigate through the recovery process. So things like how to put on deodorant, put on a shirt with minimal pain, how to sleep, some of the research on pain medications, those kind of things. So very much just an all-encompassing educational course on this injury that I think is very valuable to anybody who is serious about recovering from an AC joint separation without surgery. The next part of the course is going to be the protocol, the video instructed protocol. And so it's going to go from week 1 to week 6, and it's going to take you through all the exercises that would be done or would be appropriate with each week. And then it has a quick sheet that basically lists each exercise, so that when you go into the gym, you just have a quick sheet that you can reference. It tells you how many reps and sets and everything that you need to work through. Also, there are, at least for the first 3 weeks, there are recommended workouts to do that are cognizant of AC joint separation, and I show you how to work out in the gym with an AC joint separation and still get good workouts in even though there's an injury. So the third component of this course is a private Facebook group. In that private Facebook group, there's going to be individuals who are currently going through the course and through the recovery process, also individuals who have recovered from the injury and have already gone through the course, and also I'm going to be on the page as well, helping moderate and answer questions as needed. This is going to be a very valuable resource in itself, just because it's a great way to answer any unanswered questions or concerns about AC joint separation, and to kind of get an idea of how other people are doing at different stages of recovery. Really important to see several cases of AC joint separations handled conservatively to get an idea to see if, okay, am I at the same level, or am I behind? Am I ahead of schedule? Where am I at? So if you're watching this now and you have an AC joint separation and you're serious about recovering from this without having surgery, then this course is definitely for you.